Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for joining me once again. You are always most welcome. Well, today, something a bit different for me. Trumpeter! Now, it has been made fairly well known by me that I'm not Trumpeter's biggest fan. Only because I've had one or two kits and reviewed them and not been overly impressed. However, several of you, I'm told that several of you think that they have some good chip kits. Chips are not really my thing, but people like Jason at Model Kit Stuff, for example, he's a big fan of theirs. Certainly more than I am, anyway. I know I reviewed the Ju87B-2 and I was not at all enamoured with that kit. I thought it was awful overall, especially for the price. But we have this one today, this 32nd scale Junkers Ju87B STUKA, 87B-2 STUKA. This has been loaned to the channel by good friend Charles Stanhope, and he's going to trying to convert me to Trumpeter, I think. And he said, please would you, his exact words were, please would you consider reviewing this, because I don't really feel that the other reviews I've seen have been up to much really as a review. I haven't looked at any others, so I don't know who's reviewed them and who hasn't. No idea. But yeah, I thought I'd give it a go, and it's a very interesting subject, the Stuka. Probably one we haven't done enough of on the channel. I think we've only had apart from Matchbox of course, we've only had the Airfix 40X scale. So it's nice to see it in a bigger scale without going to the Airfix 24 scale, which is of its time and way out of date now. So let's have a look at this, and I'll try and keep an open mind. Now, I don't have huge knowledge about the product or indeed the 87B-2 Stuka. I don't know, in terms of rivet counting, how accurate it is, so I'll just judge it on what I see. We'll take it that way. I think that's the only way I can do it in my own inimitable way. So let's have a look. So it's kit number 03214. So it's basically kit 14 in their 32nd scale range. 330 parts, got a lot of parts. So it's quite a lot in the box, I think. He's only just acquired it, I understand. And I say he's very keen that I would review it for him. So let's have a look at what we've got. We've got a bit of a write-up, so why not start with that? It says the 87B series of Stukas was the first mass-produced variant. A total of 6 pre-production Ju87B Zeros were produced, built from the 87A airframes. Test flights began from the summer of 1937. It's quite late then, wasn't it? I didn't realise that. I thought they'd been around a bit longer. I was thinking it was 1936. A small number, so I'm just thinking aloud here. So it didn't take part in the Spanish Civil War then? Or did it? I think it did, didn't it? It definitely did. That's the very first one. A small number at least served with conversion Cs or Es for potential naval variants. The first production versions of the Ju87B1 with the considerably larger engine, its Junkers Umo 211D generated 1184 horsepower. It's a lot of power, that, isn't it, for 1937? Completely redesigned fuselage and landing gear. The new design was again tested in Spain. Oh, that's answered my question. Okay, tested in Spain, as in bombing a load of civilians in the Spanish Civil War. After proving its abilities there, production was therefore ramped up to 60 per month. As a result, by the outbreak of the Second World War, the Luftwaffe had 336 of these B1 models on hand. The B1 was also fitted with the Jericho trumpets, essentially propeller-driven sirens with a diameter of 2.3 feet mounted on each wing's leading edge directly forward of the landing gear. Jericho trumpets, there they are. We'll look at that in a second. On the front edge of a fixed main gear fairing. Yes, there they are. It's a little bit confusing the way they've depicted it, it's just the angle, I think. This was used to weaken enemy morale. Too right, they got that right. And it enhanced the intimidation factor of dive bombing. After the enemy became used to it, however, they were withdrawn. These devices cause a loss of some 20 to 25 k's, 10 to 20 miles per hour, through the sheer drag that they generated. Some bombs are fitted with whistles on the fin to produce the noise. noise after release. Great, okay. So let's zoom in on this then. Let's show you. This is the. It's got one here for the scheme for the Immelmann squadron on the Russian front. September 1941. Not showing in this particular graphic. Doesn't show the infamous emblem on the tail. And then over here we've got Battle of Britain. Oh, that won't last long against the Hurricane, will it? And forget Spitfires. We'll just forget it. Don't even go near them. You got the one Tramacore LG1. Ah, that's definitely the Battle of Britain. This one, no question. And then you got the Russian front, December 1941, the Stab 2. Okay, so you've got 3 options then. That's good. Made in China. Do we have a date on this anywhere? Pom pom pom. No, we don't seem to. I think it's 2011 actually. No, nothing new to. Oh no, I'm wrong. It's 2017. It says so here. Just above my finger. 2017. Right then, let's have a look at what we got. Thank you to Charles. Zoom back for this. Yes, I must say a big thank you to Charles for taking the trouble to loan this to us, because I probably wouldn't have reviewed it if he wasn't so keen to have it looked at, basically, you know. So let's see if I can. Let's see if it might change my perception of Trumpeter a little bit. We always live in hope. We live in hope. So we've got a colour call out sheet and instructions there. And then we've got, and he wants me to open the bags, by the way, so yes, you will get to see everything. He said just staple them back up again when you're done, so I think that's what we'll do. So I'm going to need my trusty knife and ruler, I think, so we don't want to mess the bags up too badly. So let me just start with what's important with the written bit. Now, let's have a look at these colour call-outs then. So this is the Immelmann option on the Russian front, as they call it. Interesting. Yes, it's actually done very well. They've made this crystal clear. In fairness, that's very nice. Yes, that's very well done. In fairness, Mr. Colour. Yeah, the Aqueous Hobby Colour or Mr. Colour they're asking for. So basically they're acrylics they're quoting, but don't really need to stick to that. And then you've got your Tramacore France July 1940 Battle of Britain version here. Or your Russian winter version, December 41. The start of the Barbarossa campaign. Start of the how can I put it? The hard realisation it wasn't going to be quite the easy victory that the Germans thought it was going to be, obviously. Anyway, the winterised their Stuka, as you can see there, and that's nicely presented, that. And in fairness to them as well, give them a bit more credit here, look, they have got a conversion chart for the others, including Humbrol and Tamiya, so you can actually see which one is which. That's extremely helpful. That's all too lacking in other kits that we sometimes see. So I like that, that's a good start. Let's hope it can keep going with this positive momentum, so I can change my view of Trumpeter. Okay, so we've had the history on the box, so they don't do it again, which is fair enough. Then we've got some PE in here, and we've got decals, etc., etc., and the last sprue map. So we'll skip over that. What I am looking for, and they have done. Okay, I was about to say what the number one thing that annoys me. They seem to be learning from others' mistakes. Is this business about not having colour call-outs, which people like Ryefield do it, they're guilty. Border, probably the worst culprit of the lot for this, not telling you. They did it on their Stuka. They didn't tell you any details about what colours. They've got a detailed engine, but you don't know what colours it's supposed to be. How stupid is that? Really? Come on. It's not even remotely amusing, is it? But here, Trumpeter, give them their due. They've told you the colours. Yeah, they're giving you colour hints as you go through, which is certainly a lot more than you get from Ryefield or Border. Building up your engine to V12, isn't it, on these? Umo engine, and then you've got all your drive box at the front, and then your front bulkhead and your engine bearers going in there, building up your engine ready to be positioned. Radiator and intake here. Nice big typical Stuka looking spinner, and it's got separate propeller blades, not just moulded in one, which is cool. And your nice spinner, and you're mounting your radiator, putting your cowlings in, and then you've got your cowls underneath around the radiator and the intake and your exhausts. It doesn't look overly complicated, I've got to say. It seems fairly straightforward, this. And it's retailing for, he did tell me this actually, did I look it up? £55 I think it is, retail. £55 to £60 mark. Which seems quite good actually. I'm thinking that's quite good value for 330 parts. Anyway, here we're building up all the internal side walls for the cockpit, including you're putting in your seat and your seat mounting, your armour plating behind the seat, and obviously you've got a gunner in the Stuka at the back. Poor sucker who's going to... how is it described? I must tell you the story because it applies here too. I was reading an account on the Battle of Midway, I think it was, recently in the American Navy, and the guys in the, was it the Dauntless? I can't remember, I think it was the Dauntless, and the guy at the back said he felt, no, it was actually Stuka, actually, I know I'm wrong, I remember now, it was actually a Battle of Britain account, and the guy, apparently the gunners in the Stukas, because I've been doing some research on Midway as well, I'm getting a bit mixed up, the guy who's the gunner in the back of the Stuka said that during the Battle of Britain, when they encountered the Hurricanes and then the Spitfires, even worse, they just felt like they were human armour plate to protect the pilot. Because the Spits and Hurricanes had come up behind them and absolutely, mallet them completely with 303 rounds from the Brownings. And the poor gunner at the back was just basically a sitting duck, really, Didn't have a chance, and he was just like a meat sandwich to soften the bullets for the pilot's benefit. Not very nice. True story, I read that a few days ago. Yeah, I was mixing it up thinking about the Dauntlesses, but it wasn't. It was Stuka pilots in the Battle of Britain. Anyway, you've got here all your oxygen canisters, and you've got all your controls, the control stick. Looks like the radio set, I think that is. And then you've got the mounting point here for the gun, which I think is an MG34, if I remember correctly, which I'll get to in a minute. Then you've got this sort of, almost like a module of the cockpit is then going to go in between the two fuselage halves. You've got your tail wheel and tyre assembly and leg going in there. Then over here we've got our horizontal stabilizer and elevators, and your rudder, very distinctive on the Stuka. Stuka's quite an interesting looking plane, isn't it? It's very much of its time, isn't it? You see that and you just think about. It's almost it's one of the most recognisable planes apart from the Spitfire in my mind, because it's such a unique shape. Anyway, then you've got your cockpit, the coving on top of the cockpit here, and the instrumentation for the pilot. Looks like there's a decal for that. And you've got these support struts, of course, like a miniature Cobain strut, just like the ME-109 had at that time, although later they were dropped in 1941 onwards. They actually managed to drop them. I think they strengthened up the mounting points on the later, after the E model. I think they dropped them, didn't they, these struts on the 109. But the Stuka certainly needed them. It's probably encountering some quite high loadings. And then over here you've got these like wing spars that are going to go in, and you of course have this anhedral stroke dihedral wing. So it has dihedral on the outer section and anhedral on the inner. So and of course some of you that follow Formula 1 will remember the 1990, I'm digressing slightly, just bear with me. Some of you may remember that Jean Alesi drove the Tyrrell in 1990, the blue and white Tyrrell. And it had almost a copy of the Stuka wing for its front wing. Its wing went down. It was the first time you'd really seen that. It went down and then up. It was almost like a Stuka wing, the front wing was. It was quite an interesting design. Anyway, so you're going to build up these these inner wings, these anhedral wings, mounting those wing tops on top of your wing spars. then you're going to build up the rest of the wing itself, including the guns. Was it 20mm cannon, I think, in these, if I remember correctly? We might get into that later. A couple of holes to drill there. A couple of holes you need to drill. It's nice that at this scale you get the gun bay, and you get the covers as well on the wing. Really cool. And then you're going to bring it all together, bringing your right wing, outer and inner wings together, mounting them on these spars, and you've got the rear coving just behind the where the gunner sits, and then you're going to sort of flesh it out, I should say. You've got your gun ring. It's like something like a rotating ring built into the glass, isn't it? And I think it's an MG34. I mean, it really isn't much defence that against a fighter plane, is it? When you've got even a Hurricane, you know, it's going to absolutely muller this. It's got 8 times the guns, and coming at you at high speed as well. I mean, what chance have you got, really? It's crazy. I don't know what they were thinking of. I think they might have been better making the Stuka lighter and not having the gunner at all. I can't help thinking that it would have had better performance without this single gun, rear gun concept. I just don't see the value of it, really. But anyway, there we go. That's what they did. So you're going to put that in and mount in all your canopy glasswork. I don't know if there's a mask set with this, but I think you will need one, so we'll look at that in a second. Then you've got your dive slats and your dive flaps and your ailerons going in here, and of course these dive slats are very characteristic of the Stuka. One thing they gave it this slight whistle that you used to have. And then you've got your very meaty fixed undercarriage, of course, that have these sort of spats, undercarriage spats, a bit like the Lysander, isn't it, in that respect? And has it got the Jericho trumpets? Not as such. We haven't got to them yet. Are they going to put them on there or not? I don't see them as being particularly featured. Unless I've missed something. Let me just go back to the wing again. Talking away, but I didn't spot that. I don't think they've actually featured them, have they? It would be on the inboard, wouldn't it? Doesn't seem to be featured. How strange! I thought they were going to have that. Obviously, this is one where they removed it, perhaps later. Perhaps that's the point that they were making, really. Okay. Anyway, then we're on to just mounting your gear, main gear legs, and then you've got these rather pathetic. Did have these very small bomblets. I think they're only 100 kilos or less. Either 75 or 100 kilo bomblets. I mean, they're pretty useless, really. All right against personnel, but useless against tanks. And then here you've got your, I think these are 250 pound bombs, and some of these come with this extended proboscis, the detonator. That's definitely to be triggered just before it hits the ground, so it doesn't trigger on the ground and has a limited effect. They want it to trigger a couple of feet above the ground with the proboscis here. That's what, you've seen that on the things like the ICM Sikorsky Sky Crane, the one that had the big bomb on it. That was a similar idea, but even longer, wasn't it? And that's an anti-personnel weapon. And then we've got options of drop tanks or bombs, a couple of different bombs. They seem to not be giving you any more labels about what these bombs are, and they did seem to start quite well. Over here it says left main undercarriage, but now they seem to have suddenly dropped giving you a label, which is a bit disappointing. Anyway, there you got your little bomblet racks that go on along the outer wing, or the more meaningful bombs on the pallets, or you can have a fuel tank, or I think this is a gun, isn't it? A cannon, I think. Again, it's not really made clear, but I'm pretty sure that's a cannon. But there's no mention of the Jericho trumpets, and it doesn't seem to show them, so they talk about it, but yeah, that's a little bit strange, being honest. I'm not sure why you would go into such detail in the write-up and then seems to be no evidence of it. I just don't get that. It's as though they're just talking about it being the later version. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into the plastic. Instructions actually were fairly clear. I thought they were quite well laid out, and they did give you colour call-outs, so they're not too bad, to be fair. Now, as I say, I've got to get this back to Charles in some sort of decent condition, so what we'll do, use my trusty knife and ruler to do this nice and neatly for him. First one is the main fuselage. I can tell you they're nice and thin. I can see through the trailing edge of these of the actual rudder. That's how thin it is. And the surface detail is pretty good, actually. Maybe this is going to change my view of Trumpeter. Perhaps that's what perhaps he's onto something. The riveting there looks really nice, doesn't it? What do you reckon? That's pretty impressive, actually. Nice feel to it. I don't care for the surface quality particularly. It looks a bit weird, and I don't know if that's showing up on the camera or not really. It's got this very strange granular-like finish to it. It's not up at ICM or Airfix levels, I wouldn't say. The plastic itself, it doesn't feel rough. It looks worse than it is, I think, but it's a bit. I can feel it here, very granular feeling, and it gets worse. It sort of gets more granular toward the end of the tail there. Bit weird. Anyway, the internal detail that you've got on the cockpit walls, looks really good. Excellent. Over on the other side, have we got the same thing? Now that's strange, because I think the other side seems better. It seems smoother. So, a bit of a quality control issue in China, I suspect here. That definitely feels a lot smoother. It doesn't feel as grainy and granular as the other one did. Those don't feel the same at all. That side rough and granular, this side smooth. Bit odd. Don't think it's going to get 10, Charles, I'm just warning you. But it's nicely figured. They've got beautiful panel line detail and absolutely fantastic rivet detail, so they've done that really well. Same is true over on the cowling here at the front. Yeah, that feels alright. I think that's just to do with the processing of the way it's come out of the mould, I don't know. But there's some lovely detail on both sides, can't fault it for that. And then you've got your lovely riveting on your rudder. That's been very, very well done. So that's actually, it's nice, quite a nice sprue that, to be fair. Just a bit strange about this surface quality. It's a little bit inconsistent, I think is the best way to put it. Anyway, let's put that back in its bag and then move on. What I'll do then, I shall get the other sprues out here in front of me, and I'll put them back in the box as we go. Where are the decals, by the way? I didn't see the decals. Let's have a look at them next. There they are. I think it's a kit that's got quite a lot of presence. You can't beat a Stuka, can you? Ooh, here we go. Some more goodies here. Ooh, Photo-etch. Okay. Right, so let's do it like that. Let's get organised. So, decals. Let's do the decal. Seem to be in a slight state of disorganisation at this moment in time, but don't worry, I'll improve. Once I've got myself organised, we'll be off. Here we go. So, yes, we can easily cut that colour. At least the Trumpeter are not being too stingy with the bags. I really hate it when some of these manufacturers, is it Ryefield or is it Tackle? And they're squeezed in super tight, you know. And as soon as you, oops, I didn't do that very well, it's straight. But as soon as you open the bag, it almost bursts out, never to go in again, you know. There's no way of stapling it or anything. It's strange on this. Yeah, so we don't want any of that. Right, let's have a look at these markings. So, okay, very, very sensibly, they've taped it so this can't separate. Now, I will untape it, obviously, and I'll just use some Tamiya tape. I'll put it back with Tamiya tape when I'm done. Okay. Doesn't damage anything. Take great care. Right, very nice decals. Check it out. So here we go. So you've got the various squadron markings at the top there. which look really bright and really nice. You've got your swastika, disassembled swastika, which is pretty good. I'll tell you what isn't so good though, can you see this like a staining here? See that stain? Where's that come from? It's not on the back. Is that from the tissue? No, I can't see it. That's odd. I don't think it's a deal breaker. I think it's sort of in the surface of the... And again here, can you see it? It's kind of in the surface of the blue backing paper. Anyway, I'm sure they'll be fine now. I'm sure it'll float off there. It doesn't seem to be causing a problem in the middle of any of the decals. So I don't see it's going to be an issue. I think Charles plans to build this himself in the not too distant future. He's just telling me he's finished his mosquito as well. Tamiya one. Anyway, so we've got some nice instrumentation decal there, which is pretty good. Let's just get a bit closer, there you go. Yeah, so there's nothing not to like there. There's just a couple of stencils. We don't want too many of those, do we? In fairness, that's a very nice decal sheet, nothing wrong with that at all. So before I even forget, I'm going to literally fix that taping issue what I just did. I'm going to get some of my trusty Tamiya tape out, and we will fix this instantly so it can't get any possible damage on his decals. All part of the service, as we say. I'm saying that, I can't get the damn tape to work. Hold on a second. I thought it was going to be easy. Yeah, got it. A nice clean bit for him. Right. We shall retape his decals up. And style to which they've become accustomed. There we go. All like new again. Pop that back in there. In fact, I shall put it between the sheets of his instructions for extra protection. There we go. Sorry about that. Right, there we go. Oh, I forgot that came out of that bag, didn't it? Oh. I'm getting myself into a disorganised mess here. I forgot it came out of the bag. Anyway, that's alright then. Pop that back in there. Lovely. All done. Safe as houses again. Right, next. So let's have a look at this. Oh yes, we've got some nice. Is there a? I thought there might have been a mask set, but I don't think there is in the Trumpeter ones, is there? So this is the. I like the fact they've got Photo-etch, but they've only got a few bits of it. They've not gone nuts. You know, they've just got the radiator grill, haven't they? The mesh for the radiator grill there. Well, that's nice. And then just a couple of other the grills as well. One's the exit, one's the entry grill, isn't it? I think they've done that really well. They haven't gone mad with it, you know, which is nothing worse than, you know, 40 or 50 bits of Photo-etch that frankly isn't needed. It just isn't. So I won't open that. It would spoil it. I don't need to see that in any more detail. Then we have got our tyres. Now let's check these out because these could be quite interesting. Sorry, let me zoom you back. Little bag of tyres here. Rubber tyres. Interestingly, the Trumpeter have gone that route, not plastic. It can be a bit of a worry. Depends on if it has a seam or not. I know they look rather nice actually. Let's get you zoomed in on this. So. Yeah, those are really pretty good. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. Good detail on them. No nasty seam, they're actually very good quality. And then we've got, it's quite hard to show this. This is where, oh my god, I dropped it. Oh, problem. It's gone. Oopsie poopsie, the carpet monster's got it. No, it's alright, I found it. It did drop it. I thought it had gone, but oh no, don't do this on me. No, we've got it, we've got it. Because things can disappear here very fast. So, this is the tail wheel tyre. And to be honest, it's a really nice one. He says, get the focus to work. There we go. Nothing wrong with that. Very, very nice indeed. Very, very nice. Yeah, like it. So they're actually very nice tyres, aren't they, in fairness? We shall get that back in there, and we'll have no more dropping, losing anything. Charles probably just had a mild heart attack there. I think, oh no, I made a mistake. Why did I send in my precious kit, you know? I mean, come on, have you never seen my other videos where I break people's tracks and all that kind of stuff? Never live that down, will I? Right, I'm going to seal this up for you nicely. Like so. So there's no danger of those getting lost. No way. There we go. Just mud it slightly. Make sure it's all to the right dimensions. There we go. Fixed. They're not going anywhere. Right, okay. So it's absolutely critical when you're handling other people's property that we get it not only treated with respect, but just that little extra bit of care, because things, as we know, can go wrong. Even when you do show extra care, like poor old John Bevan and his Honey Stewart tracks. Little did I know. Of course, I've now encountered a couple of my own kits that haven't actually broken them because I was forewarned, but they've got the same issue. Those Matchbox tracks that seem to work hard, and over time the silver ones, terrible. Oh. Anyway, here we've got the bloody great bomb. Look at this. This is a real big bomb. Look at that. That's a monster, isn't it? Wow. Yeah, I like that. Is that a £1,000 bomb? Got to be. £1,000 bomb easy, or 2,000 even. It's a proper big bomb, isn't it? That's nicely moulded. Oh, it's doing alright, this kit. It's got no flash or anything that's annoying me. It's all looking pretty good. Let's have a look at the next one. Now here we have a duplicate duo, a duo sort of moulding, if you know what I mean. Not the one I'm showing you in the background, but the one that's in my hand. If you bear with me a second. There we go. Now then, now we've got the much smaller bombs. Yeah. I mean, these little bombs, these are like the ones in the First World War they used to throw by hand. Drop them out of the biplanes, you know, flechettes. Really tiny, aren't they? I mean, they are literally something you can hold in your hand. Not big. Interesting. And here's those extending probes I talked about that makes it detonate before it hits the ground. Nicely moulded though. Beautiful, beautiful bit of work from Trumpeter. Very good. Trumpeter do quite well with me so far. Perhaps they're going to win me over today. It would be nice to not be grumpy about them, because I don't slag off any company for the fun of it. I only say what I see at the end of the day. Tell it like I see it. Now then, sorry, I realise it's not very good TV when I've got you zoomed in and I'm working elsewhere in the image, not hiding. Sorry about that. It's just a bit of work today because we've got to cut these bags open. So, here we have the horizontal stabilisers and elevators and the magazine drums for the machine guns. And they are beautifully done, in fairness. Very, very nice. So here's your horizontal stabilisers. Just behind we've got the elevator flaps. And then we've got these little ammunition magazine drums for the MG34, sorry. And then over here you've got the main plane of the horizontal stabiliser. Okay. Interesting stuff. Nothing wrong there. Looking very nice. No flash. Yeah, very nicely moulded. Seems quite a decent kit this does actually. Quite like a Stuka myself. I want to build a Stuka. I haven't built a Stuka since about 1976. High time I did one. I haven't built any kit since 1976. No, I'm exaggerating. That's not true. It feels like it sometimes. Right, my oldest kit is actually from 1982, I think. It's the Tamiya Porsche 928. Still in my cabinet. It's my oldest one. Now then, we've got the spinner. Looks nice. That looks very nice. Spinner, engine bearers. What's that? That's the this is the gear legs, isn't it? Gear legs. And then the spats, the aero spats that go around the gear and the wheels. And then you've got your remarkable, when you look at them like this, these propeller blades. They're like paddles, aren't they? Canoe paddles. Amazing. Very thick bladed, aren't they? And then over here you've got your intake there for your radiator. Exhausts here. What else have we got? That's the rear gear leg there. Fantastic. You've got your part of your chin cowling here. It's a nice kit, isn't it, actually? Very nice. Yeah, and then you've got these other bits of cowling that go around the top, the engine cowl. So far, I haven't seen anything that has really annoyed me, apart from that issue about the just this thing about the Jericho trumpets, which don't seem to be present. I'm confused about them. Okay. Wing. They've done this nicely. They've done this really nicely, in fairness. Yes, this is a totally different level of quality to that Bear, to Ju95 Bear, which was dire. In places it was laughably bad. This is much more like a modern kit that you'd expect from China, in fairness. Yeah, you've got some lovely, you've got the gun bay here, and he's got the rear horizontal stabiliser struts, cabane struts there. You've got your elevators here, ailerons I mean, sorry. And then you've got your inboard anhedral part of the wing here. And this has got some cracking detail on it, hasn't it? Look at those, all the rivets they've got on it. That's really well done. Yeah. Yes, that's a lovely sprue actually. They've done that really well. Ah, and here's your MG. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is the MG34. There's a little bit of a stress mark there where it joins the sprue gate contact point. But that's your MG34 machine gun, which is not going to save you against a Spitfire, I'm afraid. Absolutely not. Not a chance. It's going to turn you into chopped liver, I'm afraid, if you get into one of those encounters. And that's why they withdrew them, didn't they? I mean, they were flying them in July. I think by the end of August they virtually withdrew them. Certainly by September it was all over for the Stuka. And they sent them off to the Russian front because they were just getting chopped to bits. They were sending out 12 at a time, and there was only 3, 4, 5 coming back out of every dozen, which is not very good. They're getting decimated, in other words. I don't know why they didn't realise that much sooner, really. I mean, this is not a weapon. This is the thing that they talk about, it's been discussed in Ukraine. Why can't they have the A10? Well, the answer is they haven't got air superiority. A10s would be like a modern version of the Stuka. Far superior, of course, in many, many ways, but a lot faster. But it's the same problem. Unless you have air superiority, you can't go sending a slower ground attack aircraft into battle when the enemy has equal or superior fighter cover. You're going to get mullered absolutely every time. Anyway, so some things don't change, you know. Now we look at the underside of the inner wing, the anhedral wing. with some beautiful detail here again. Lovely. The riveting is absolutely excellent. Unfortunately, sometimes Trumpeter get a bit carried away, and they did a bit of riveting on the F-35 stealth jet because it doesn't have any rivets. Another reason I've got scepticism about them when they do tricks like that. I mean, that is just bizarre. I know that I realise they can't get their hands on one, but they must know that already, surely. They must have known the F-35 didn't have rivets, for goodness sake. Anyway, I'm digressing. Let's stick with the Stuka. So here's your instrument panel. Actually appears to be two variants of it, actually, doesn't there? It's that one. And there's that one. Must be subtle differences I'm not spotting. Yeah, the left hand side, there are some subtle differences on the left hand side of the dials. Anyway, then over here you've got your this is actually one of these seats that's a very rudimentary lightweight seat. I think that's for the gunner. Not very comfortable, especially when you're getting chased by Spitfires. That's the pilot's seat there. Don't think it comes with any belts or anything, unfortunately. It's a bit of a shame. Nice the way they've done the bulkhead here, where the engine bearers fit up to it. You know, that's nice. And this is your armour-plated seat back, of course. Armour plating for the well, for the pilot anyway. And as was said, some of the armour plate the pilot gets is just basically the body of the gunner sitting behind him, acting like a ballistic back. Oh God! I mean, that's the last job in World War II. That's got to be one of the last jobs you ever want to do, is be the rear gunner in the Stuka. Especially if it's Battle of Britain time and the Brits are after you with Spits and Hurricanes. No. There's only going to be one outcome, and it's not going to be pretty. No joke. Right then, clear parts now. Be very careful with these. Don't know what to expect, to be honest. It's nice that they wrap it all in tissue like this. That's a good idea. Although it's a little bit unwound. See if I can get it out very gently. Ah, right. Those are really pretty good. I can see some distortion on this piece, not so much on the other one. The rest of it looks perfect. Yeah, there's a bit of distortion on the front windscreen, but most of that is excellent, in fairness. Let me zoom you right in for this so you can see for yourselves. Now, what I saw when I said there was some distortion, I'm not sure if the camera will pick it up, but I saw it really. There's distortion around, sorry, these windows here at the side. I'm not sure I'm going to get that on the camera. There is a bit of distortion where the gunner sits. The side ones look lovely. This other optional one here, there's two options. This one looks a lot better. This one looks okay. And the only other one that's got a bit of distortion is the actual wind. Sorry, I got the wrong way around. No. Where around is it? It's that way, isn't it? Yeah, that way. This one's a little bit distorted, the main front windshield. Not too bad. I mean, it's not quite ICM, but it's not far off. It's sort of as good as Airfix, you know. Pretty good. Slightly better than I thought it would be, if I'm honest. Certainly well acceptable in the modern age. It's up there with the sort of general standard, I would say. If I can get these back, I think I'll be deserving a medal. Is it possible to do that? Is it? Can it be done? Come on, you can't force it. It's got to be done very, very gently. This is like an art form of its own. I think I might have done it. There's a way of doing it. You've got to push against the strongest bits, feed it through very, very gently. I think we might have a winner here. I can get to the end and pull it. We've got it! Look at that! Just back as it was. Perfect! I can almost hear Charles clapping in sheer relief. Rather than admiration, yeah. Phew! Dodged another bullet there. Unlike the Stuka gun I did. Right. Should be joking about such things really. Right, that's good. So, now what have we got next? I've got engines. Just a couple of sprues to go. Oh, rather a strange bag. It's a bit of a chatty one, that. Not quite to the same standard as the other was. Any of them. So the engine then, complete with supercharger. So it's a V12. Oops, zoom you in. No, they've done this really nicely. Nothing wrong with this. Looks pretty cool. Yep, there's our supercharger over here. 2 halves of it. This is the UMO engine. The cylinder head covers here. Yeah, your sump cover there. Looks alright, very nice. Can't fault it at all. Nothing wrong with that. Yes, we like that. That's a nice Stuka engine. Yeah, I could see there's definitely been a little bit of progress from Trumpeter compared to that. I think the Bear was from about 2007, if I'm not mistaken. And I was mighty unhappy with it. I thought it was pretty dire really. It wasn't all bad, but a couple of sprues looked like they'd been carved by a blind woodsman or something. They were just terrible, the actual moulding. They were crude, they were ugly, and they were very almost malformed a little bit as well. None of that here. That's nice. That's very, very nice. So this is the one that's got obviously the it's got the spars on it for the main wing support. I'll tell you what I have noticed, and that's something that you do get on Trumpeter sometimes. This nasty brownish release agent. Can you see it there? Just a bit of a trace of it there, where the control rod's attached, I think it is. And sometimes they can be really... So I've got a very noisy blackbird out there. See? And he's having a conversation with me. Yeah, sometimes you get this residue and it's not terribly nice, to be honest. And yeah, there's a little trace of it, but it's not a problem. Then you've got your ailerons here. Because I think these were flaps, weren't they? That I said ailerons a few minutes ago on the other sprue. Then you've got here, you've got your wing spars, which make it strong and form the basis of how you attach the inner and outer inboard and outboard wings. And these wings themselves are, see that slightly, they're pretty nice, aren't they? Some nice detail there. Yeah. Yes, lots of very, very finessed riveting, and the access hatches are very good. The access hatches, you can see them as well. Very nicely done. Yeah, that's really cool. Very nice. And that really just leaves us with one more sprue. Now let's hope it doesn't fall at the final furlong, because the final fence. Because they've done quite well with this. I think my opinion of Trumpeter has improved during this 40 odd minutes or whatever it is of review. I think they might have won me a bit over. Certainly more than in the past, anyway. One thing I have done, I'm going to put some of these parts in wrong places. Just bear with me one second, folks. So now I've going to misplaced a couple of items here, like those should be in there. And there we go. So just the last one to go then, which is the tanks and the bomb pallets. What I'll do, I'll just snip this open. There is a bit of an inconsistency in the way that, can you see that? In the way that they've actually sealed the bag at sort of a 30 odd degree angle. That's very odd. Makes it a bit awkward though when you're trying to get into it. Strange angle, because they've given us far less material to work with. That's a bit careless of something that was. And then here we go. So we've got our fuel tanks, drop tanks, and we've got our sort of pylon stroke pallets for the bombs. Which look really nice. Look at that. It's proper detail, isn't it? Yeah. I still can't work out whether those were a cannon or a... I think they're a cannon, aren't they? It's like a gondola cannon, this. Barrel sticks out, I think. But it's a really nice kit, I've got to say. I'm slightly reassured. I can understand why some people were cross with me when I said that Trumpeter were a load of old rubbish. Perhaps a bit too much of a sweeping statement. I can only judge them on what I see. And previous couple of reviews I've done, I was very unimpressed indeed. But this one, no, I am impressed. I am impressed, genuinely. Not just because, you know, I didn't have to pay for it, somebody loaned it to me, nothing to do with that. If I thought it was rubbish, I would say so. And Charles knows this. I think that's why he wanted me to look at it properly. But he's obviously thought, I think that's a nice kit. I think you would think it's a nice kit too. And he's working his magic there. That's a real corker. I mean, the only thing I didn't like was this business about the Jericho trumpets, which they talk about it, but they don't seem to be present. I find that a little bit confusing. I think it's just the fact that perhaps they shouldn't have mentioned it, because obviously this is the later version. Yeah, the B1, you see, this is the B2. The B1 had the Jericho trumpets. Far better when you're going into making a kit and you're giving the background data. Just don't mention that unless it's going to be something that's an option in the kit. A bit strange that they did that. Anyway, in summary, I am mighty impressed. For the first time with Trumpeter, how about that? A world first. What am I going to give it then, score-wise? The clear parts were nice, the tyres were good. I think they should probably try and stray away from doing tyres in rubber, but they were beautifully formed, so there's no real complaint there I can level against them. Yeah, I think perhaps a little bit more detail on the instructions, a little bit more clarity, but they were pretty decent. They're pretty decent. Certainly in a different league to someone like Border or Rifle. So I'm going to give it, you might need to sit down for this, I'm going to give it 9.75 out of 10. I can't believe I'm saying those words. Trumpeter? They're rubbish, aren't they? Obviously not. Obviously not. So I stand corrected. Well, they've upped their game is what's really happened. I'm not being corrected on anything. They've just upped their game and they've got better. That's a nice kit. That's a nice kit. I would, for 55 quid, I think that's reasonable value. Yeah, it's no problem at all. I like it. Well done to Charles. Thank you very much to him for letting us see the kit, which is very kind of him. So it's a 9.75 out of 10 for Trumpeter, 10 out of 10 for Charles, and give me a 10 out of 10 as well, please. We rely on your feedback. So there you go. So maybe that will have a positive effect, and I will try to be more open-minded about Trumpeter because they've improved. You know, and this is the name of the game, isn't it? You know, it's the same with Revell. I've been very brutal about Revell in the past. Brutal. But they deserve it because they've been rubbish at times. Some of their stuff is just crap. Some of it's good. Unfortunately, most of the good stuff they didn't make, like Matchbox and ICM. But anyway, but they are getting better, I think. And another company's getting better. They've got Luke Slade and Hewitt has joined them, and he's having a positive impact. And there is rumour they're changing the box design, which they need to. Things like that. Nothing stays the same forever. You know, some people go off the boil. I've got to say I'm a hobby. I haven't seen the very latest examples, but about 6 months ago when they were producing that Era Cobra, they've gone off the boil a little bit, and they were so good when they came out. The Hurricanes, you know, their first kits were just outstanding, and they seem to have lost the plot a little bit. They've gone a bit downhill. Trumpeter have gone the other way. They seem to be improving. So I think it's important that people do model reviews like me. Tell it like it is, because that's the only way the manufacturers get the message. And you know, when I say to Rightfield and Border, say your instructions are garbage, well, they are garbage, really. You know, a lot of what they're doing is just not up to standard that we expect. In the 25th year of the 21st century, it's not good enough. That's quite reassuring. That's quite heartwarming to see something that's improved that much. So well done, Trumpeter. I'm very pleased for you that you actually improved your sort of everything really. The packaging's good, the design's good. A very likeable product. Well done. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you found it interesting and entertaining. Me losing things and dropping them on the floor. Don't worry, everything's back in the box now, Charles, and I'll tape up, or I'll probably staple them as you requested on the sprues. Nothing's going to get lost, don't worry, it's all sorted. So until next time, thank you to Charles. I'll get that back in the post to him nice and safe and sound. And until next time, thanks all very much for watching. And until I see you again, stay well, stay safe. Thanks very much for all your time. Until we meet again, thanks a lot, and bye for now.